What is going on, guys? Krusty K's here from the Go Boys Network, coming to you with the MLB slate preview for August 16th. Before we hop into this one, remind everybody you get all these odds at FanDuel Sportsbook. But let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right into this slate. We have a day game on our hands. The Toronto Blue Jays take on the Cubs. Yariel Rodriguez versus Kyle Hendricks. It's going to be the over here for me. Total sitting at 10.5. So it's already a high total. When you see a high total at Wrigley, what does that mean? It means the wind's blowing out. It is the most wind-affected park in the entire league, and you're going to see that firsthand here in this one. I expect a ton of runs. Yariel Rodriguez has actually been pretty good for the most part this season. He has struggled at times, and this feels like a spot where he can struggle, truthfully. Like I said, wind blowing out, guys are going to get the ball in the air, and at Wrigley, if you get the ball in the air and the wind's blowing out, good things happen. So I like a ton of runs here. I think this thing soars over. No real love for either side, truthfully. Just give me the over, give me some runs. Our next one, the Kansas City Royals take on Cincinnati Reds. This is Michael Lorenzen versus Nick Martinez. Pretty gross pitching matchup here. Again, I'm going to go to the over. I don't love backing really either of these offenses, truthfully. But for me, both these pitchers kind of just stink. Michael Lorenzen, last year he couldn't pitch to lefties. This year he's kind of like corrected that, but now he can't pitch to righties. So he should struggle against some of these big bats in this Reds lineup. On the flip side, Nick Martinez, I mean, this guy's a certified gasoline can. I don't know. He's going to give up some runs. There should be a lot of offense here. Another game where I expect to see a ton of scoring. So give me the over here as well. The next one, the Yankees taking on the Tigers. Garrett Cole, and right now the Tigers have not announced a starter. Not really sure where they're going to go with this one. They're coming off kind of a back-to-back like pseudo bullpen games. Maybe they opt for another one here. I'm not really sure. But for me, it's going to be the Yankees on the money line. Obviously, it's too juiced to play straight at a minus 190. Parlay it with something else. I have a couple spots later on that you can definitely parlay it with. I just think Cole bounces back. He's coming off a start where, he actually looked pretty good. And I like that to kind of just continue here against this Tigers team, who, in my opinion, lineup's not really hitting right now. Actually, Cole looked outstanding. Sorry, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Cole looked outstanding in his last start. He went 5 1/3, gave up 1 run. It was the bullpen who gave it up in that same inning. I slipped my mind. So I like Cole to continue to pitch well. I think he handles this Tigers line with relative ease, and I think the Yankees get a win here. Our next one, the Seattle Mariners taking on the Pirates. Logan Gilbert versus Paul Skeens. There is a bit of weather, I believe, for this one, so kind of just keep an eye on that. But I'm going to go to the Mariners. I think both these guys pitch well. I think this thing's low scoring. This kind of goes back to that same thing I talk about, though. It's what happens when Paul Skeens leaves the game, and I don't like it. So in what I expect to be a low scoring game, I'm going to take the Mariners. I'm going to trust that Logan Gilbert can deal against this Pirates lineup. I think Paul Skeens likely deals against the Mariners lineup too. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I do like the Mariners to ultimately pull away and get the win here in the end. Our next one, Washington Nationals taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. Patrick Corbin versus Aaron Nola. I want to fade Patrick Corbin. I'm not taking the Phillies at minus 255 on the money line, so I'm gonna go with the Phillies team total over. I think they put up some runs here. It's fade Patrick Corbin day. We all know that. Crushing lefties. They got to Mitchell Parker early in the game today. I think they get to Corbin early as well. I think they put up 5-6 runs with relative ease. Cover this team total for us. Our next one, the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on Tampa Bay Rays. Ryan Nelson, versus Ryan Pepiot. So Pepiot coming back from injury. I really like Diamondbacks here. So Diamondbacks really starting to swing the bats as of late. They're winning. They're getting hot at the right time. I think they could take advantage of Pepiot's stuff, in my opinion. Ryan Nelson, he's been really good, and this is a guy who I firmly believe is not good. He's impressed me. The metrics look really good. He's looked outstanding in his last 4 or 5 starts. Gets a Tampa Bay team who's not hitting righties. We talked about it numerous times. This lineup just doesn't have that power, that thump, because they traded away a lot of guys, and I think Ryan Nelson pitches well here. This is a great spot for him to continue to pitch well. He gets a lineup who no one really has to be afraid of. You can be aggressive against them, and I think he takes full advantage. Give me the Diamondbacks on the money line here. Our next one, the Boston Red Sox taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Right now, Boston yet to announce a starter. Orioles rolling out Corbin Burns. I mean, for me, it's going to be the Baltimore on the money line. This is a juiced one. This is one I would recommend pairing with the Yankees. I don't trust taking them on the run line just because it's not a team that their bats always, as good as they are, their bats always seem to go away whenever I back them. So I'm just going to back Corbin Burns to pitch really well here against Boston. I think he handles business, especially at home. And I trust the Orioles bats more at home. So hoping they get us a few runs of run support here, which should be more than enough to get us across the finish line with this one.
Wait, before we get back to the picks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. Friends don't let friends watch videos without hitting the like button. So go ahead and press the thumbs up button and like the video. If you're new here and not subscribed, you should go ahead and do so because we're dropping new content each and every day on the Gold Boys Network. We strive to cover every sport and give out picks and analysis and valuable information for free on the Gold Boys Network. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop something new. I'm Brad Thomas. Let's get back to the picks.
Our next one, the Miami Marlins taking on the Mets. This is Rodri Munoz versus Sean Manaea. It's going to be the over for me here. So Rodri Munoz is a guy who we all know gives up the hardest contact in all baseball, like one of the highest expected batting averages against. I think the Mets can really put up some runs here against him. Sean Manaea has been actually really good for a majority of the season. This just feels like a spot where this Marlins team, it's one of those teams where I've tried to fade them a few times, and I think because they don't have the name recognition, we automatically assume they're bad. I mean, I know myself I do, and they really are. They're a bad team. I'm not gonna sit here and say they're a good team or anything. I think what it is though is they have a lot of guys, especially now that they've traded away some of these guys who are really good at making contact and putting the ball in play. And against a guy like Manaea, I mean that can be the difference. So I think Miami does get at least a few runs for us here, and the Mets can take us the rest of the way to get over this total. Give me the over 8.5 here. Our next one, the Minnesota Twins taking on the Texas Rangers. Simeon Woods Richardson versus Andrew Heaney. It's going to be the Twins for me here. I like Simeon Woods Richardson, SWR. I like him a lot. I like him in the spot. Yeah, Texas team continues to struggle against righties, right around league average. So nothing to be super concerned with there. Andrew Heaney, in my opinion, in for an extremely rough outing against this Twins lineup. They're going to put out probably a lineup of 9 righties, all guys who match left-handed pitching. I think this is extremely short outing for Heaney. I think the Twins, easily put up, 4 or 5 runs for us here, and we just need SWR to give us a solid 5 before they turn over that bullpen. Our next one, the White Sox take on the Astros. Garrett Crochet versus Spencer Arrighetti. So I'm going to go with Houston minus 1.5. This is one of the few teams I trust taking the run line. Arrighetti's been really locked in for this team. Think he continues to pitch well. He's going to face a White Sox team dead last in every offensive metric. So just a great spot, obviously, for him to continue to pitch well. Garrett Crochet has kind of fallen off a cliff here in the second half of the season. I attribute a lot of it to the fact they're trying to work in a straight change, which he has not thrown before, and it just hasn't been good. And so he can't throw it competitively. So teams are just sitting on the velo, waiting for the fastball, waiting for the cutter, and they're teeing off on him here. And unfortunately for him, this is an Astros team that hits both those pitches really well. So I think he's in for a rough outing. Giving the Astros minus 1.5. Our next one, the Cleveland Guardians taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. Gavin Williams versus Aaron Savale. I mean, the Brewers just keep going into these tough series and just coming out victorious. They had a tough one against the Braves. They swept them. They had a tough one against the Dodgers. Once again, had a really hard-fought series. They ended up taking the game today, battling back from, I believe, was it 3-0? 4-0? They came back and won. This team just playing really well right now. Guardians are too, don't get me wrong. But when it comes to, you got Savale versus Gavin Williams. So you got Savale, who obviously was a Guardian at one point. Gavin Williams, in my opinion, stinks. This is a guy who only pitches well against the Tigers. So for me, it's going to be the Brewers on the money line here at home. I think both teams are going to get a little bit of some runs off of these starters, truthfully. But for me, the edge is in the late inning guys in the Milwaukee bullpen. I mean, obviously, Cleveland has Emmanuel Clase, who's the best closer in all baseball. We're not going to argue that. But the guys to get to Clase, I don't like them as much as like the guys Milwaukee has. So I'm going to trust the Milwaukee bullpen to ultimately get this one done for us. I think Savale does pitch better than Gavin Williams. Maybe Gavin Williams gives up 3 and Savali gives up 2. Regardless, I think Savali has a better outing. Ultimately, gets us the lead, and hopefully the bullpen can hold it. Give me the Brewers on the money line here. Our next one, the Dodgers taking on the Cardinals. Dodgers yet to announce a starter. Cardinals rolling out Miles McCollum. It's going to be the Dodgers for me here, regardless of who starts this game. Miles McCollum, certified turkey tosser. I believe he's like number 4 on my list. But this guy, you're facing the Dodgers death lineup, as people like to call it. Mookie's back. Ohtani, Freeman. I mean, this team is getting healthy at the right time, and Miles McCollum is just in the way. So give me the Dodgers here on the money line. Our next one, the Padres taking on the Colorado Rockies. Matt Waldron versus Cal Quantrill. I think Waldron's knuckleball plays extremely well at Coors. Now, this is a pitch, obviously, that lives on no spin rate, basically, or next to no spin rate. Now you're going to play in the thin air where stuff kind of does what it wants and flattens out. That knuckleball, I believe, is going to be dancing all over the place. So for me, I do like the Padres here. They're minus 180 on the money line. Obviously not a playable line. I think you could take the run line here at minus 1.5. I just like Waldron to pitch really well against an undisciplined Colorado team. And I think Cal Quantrill struggles in this spot against this Padres offense, who, similar to the Diamondbacks, really starting to find it, kind of put some pressure on the Dodgers. Give me the Padres here on the money line, minus 1.5, however you want it. I think they get it done. Hey guys, I just want to give a quick reminder that new users can bet $5 at FanDuel on any of the bets in this video and win $150 in bonus bets if the bet wins. Now let's get back to the bets. Our next one, the Atlanta Braves taking on the Angels. Spencer Schwellenbach versus Jose Soriano. I'm going to be on the under 8.5 here. Schwellenbach has been absolutely outstanding for this Angels team. We've seen it, or this Braves team. We've seen it time and time again. I think he pitches really well against the Angels team, who just got rid of Willie Calhoun. So really not a lot. That he was pretty much their last high contact guy. Now you're going to face the Angels team, who doesn't make a lot of contact. Going to be loaded with K potential. I think Schwellenbach absolutely deals. On the flip side, Soriano, really good stuff this season. I think he can navigate this Braves lineup with relative ease. This team continues to struggle at the plate with Ks. Their bats have been quiet. We saw Logan Webb absolutely stymie them today. And Soriano, I feel like he has the potential to do something very similar here. So give me the under 8.5. And that does conclude our slate, though. If you guys do me a favor, drop a like, drop a comment. Let me know what you guys are playing. Before we hop off, let me give you my 3 best. So number 1, we are going to roll with the Diamondbacks on the money line. I absolutely love that spot. Number 2, we are going to go with the under in the Braves-Angels game. And number 3, we're going to go with the Mariners on the money line. As always, you can get all of my official plays at goboys.com. If you have a gambling problem, don't want to hurt a gambler. Thank you, guys.